Hey guys, so super excited about today's episode. My boy Bryce Wilson, as he's known on IG or the gram, Bryce Wilson is back for another episode. He is a returning guest, crushed it when he was on my show about a year and a half ago, and now he's back, and him and his partner Michaela are living their best life in an RV. And in this interview, he's going to talk about how buying that RV on a whim with Michaela has completely changed their life. So you're going to love how he has bobbed and weaved through this pandemic over the last 8 months. But above that, again, if you didn't hear on Monday, my Network Marketing Academy, the doors are still open 2 more days. It is open through Black Friday. And again, $29 a month. Monthly masterclasses with me. There is a monthly guest masterclass with an industry expert. We go over mindset, organizational skills, social media, and generating leads. Also, you have the whole database of every masterclass that I have done this year and last year to also look back at. So I hope you enjoy the episode. If you're interested in joining the Academy, the link of how to join is in the description of this episode. So enjoy. Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. So Bryce, I can officially say welcome back to the podcast. So for those that have been listening to my podcast for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, Bryce was actually one of the first interviews I did that I believe it aired in October of 2019. And at the time, this was, pre-pandemic, so things were kind of normal. He has a company called Ticket Pickers, Ticket Rescue, but him and I, we touch base fairly often. And if you don't follow him on Instagram, which we're going to get into, him and his amazing girlfriend Michaela have been living the RV life. But again, we're going to get into how that happened. So first and foremost, brother, welcome back to the show. And number two, let's give the audience a little bit of an update of where you have been, where Ticket Pickers, Ticket Rescue is now at since this whole pandemic came about, because a lot has changed since the audience last heard from you in October of 2019. So fill us in on what's going on.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thanks for having me back. I feel like I'm a completely different person. Like you are interviewing a new person, even though it's still Bryce, but what has it been, 9 months?
Yeah, well,
Something like
I think honestly, the interview that we did, I think that was one of your first podcasts that you ever went on.
It was the first, yeah.
And because I remember when I originally, we were talking one day on one of our accountability calls. I'm like, dude, you got to come on my podcast. And you're like, what the hell am I going to actually say? What do you want to talk about? I said, let's just talk about your business and, you being where you are, and we'll just go for it. And people really loved it. They loved the episode. So,
yeah.
But I absolutely can 150% agree that you are an absolutely different person now than you were 8-9 months ago. So let's give them a little update on what has transpired and what has you now. The audience can't see this, but we're doing this interview. I'm in my house, and Bryce is sitting in his RV right now, doing this interview in Durango, Colorado. So let's talk about where everything has gone and how everything transpired.
And I'm in the driver's seat, by the way. The steering wheel is right here, right next to me. Like, I'm literally in the driver's seat. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. From October, so things were pretty normal up until March of this year. Smooth sailing, steady growth with Ticket Pickers, which now is Ticket Rescue. And March came around, and obviously COVID-19 struck. And being in the industry that Ticket Rescue is in, being live events, concerts, sports, theater, I had, and I want to say it was like March 21st, I was sitting in the bathtub and keeping an eye on everything that was going on. And I read on my phone, NBA shut down. And then the next thing I read was CDC has limited capacity to 50 people. No gatherings over 50 people. And up until then, I was so optimistic of nothing's going to happen to sports. Nothing's going to happen to events. This is going to be fine. It's just going to blow over. And that was the moment of, oh my God, this is real. If there can't be a gathering over 50 people, there's not going to be a concert anytime soon. There's not going to be a sporting event anytime soon. There's not going to be any of this anytime soon. So I very quickly shifted. I had my 2 minutes of, oh my God, this is the worst possible scenario for my business. This sucks. And then I quickly transitioned into, it is what it is. Control what you can control. And you're going to look back on this and it's going to be an amazing thing that happened. And obviously worldwide, not an amazing thing, but in my personal life, it's going to be like, wow, that yielded many, many good things. So from that, made a quick transition, had a call with my team and said, hey guys, this is going to be put on pause for a little bit. It'll come back around eventually, but we need to make a shift. So we played stupid idea time. We threw stuff out there. We said, what new business are we going to start? Because we have all the resources. We have all the people. We've got great leaders. We've got great workers. We've got great marketing people. We've got an awesome team. We have all the foundational aspects that are needed to run a solid business, a good business. We just need a new idea. So we ended up landing on what is now TRT Virtual. Essentially what we are doing is helping influencers to grow their reach on Instagram through genuine engagement, and generate authentic leads for them while growing their following and growing their Instagram engagement. And it's been really cool honestly, it's been so much fun to build. But in the midst of all that, we bought an RV, Michaela and I. And I'll try to do this story as quickly as I can, but we visited friends in an RV and had no intentions of buying one. This was in March. Walked into their RV, said, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so cool that you guys are doing it. Walked out, jumped in the car because we had to go get some ice. And by the time we were back from getting ice, we told our friends, hey, we're going to do this too. We're going to buy an RV. And from that time, 1 month later, we packed up our whole apartment in Denver. We road tripped home to Florida. We bought an RV. We did it up. We made it look cute, and we were on the road. And now have went from Florida all the way to Arizona, making stops along the way, spent a good amount of time in Sedona area, and at the current moment are in Durango, Colorado, where we have no agenda. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. We don't know if we're going to be here for another 10 weeks. I don't know what life looks like, but all I know is my home is here, and wherever I travel, it'll be.
I think well, first, congratulations. And I've been following, obviously, your journey. I've always done that. And actually, I haven't always done that because you've been open and very transparent that you've not really shared much of you and your life and what you do. Michaela has always been a force and a presence on social media, but it was really exciting for me to actually see you step into that aspect of building your personal brand, from when you got your drone to, the dog poop tossing contest and all the things that you were doing that was inviting people in because you were just having fun. And people love that, the jorts competition, jorts or no jorts. And, and again, I remember all this because I was watching everything that was going on. But I think what's really important, but also impactful, is that the audience is actually hearing someone firsthand, an entrepreneur, someone that, built their business while they were in college from the ground up, a wildly successful business. And you were one of the businesses just like the fitness industry, just like certain, the restaurant industry, the bar industry, your profession, your industry, your company was one of the most heavily affected professions and industries from the pandemic. And like you said, you gave yourself the 2 minutes to have a pity party, because we're all entitled to that, because again, it's real. I had my own because, for me, a lot of my clients, they're in that type of industry and they get their income from that. So I'm like, oh my God, are people going to be able to afford to pay me? So I had my little pity party. And then I said, you know what, that I'm going to acknowledge that feeling, but I'm going to move past it. And you bobbed and weaved. And I believe, and this is my true honest to God feeling, that we're all going through kind of a parting of the Red Sea time where, I mean, if you, back in October, if you were able to look into a crystal ball and looking at the image in the crystal ball, it was going to show you and Michaela driving in a 30-foot RV around the country, you would have said that there's no way that's going to happen. I just don't even, I have my company to run. I have my business and she's doing her coaching. When are we going to have the time to actually do this? And a lot can change in a small amount of time. So you and I are both in the same mindset. We're a half glass full type of guy. So what do you think was the biggest lesson, the most positive thing that has come out of this pandemic for you, Michaela, your business, and your life since getting on the road back in March?
I think I've always had the belief and always preached, like, when there's a setback or a failure or any sort of darkness, if you want to call it that, there's always going to be an equal opportunity. You can always find something great in something that might not look that good. And it's never really been put to the test. It's always just been talk. And I think this has been a really, really good test to truly feel and embody that and be 100% okay with whatever circumstances are my way, and ultimately know that I have everything I need and I will be okay no matter what. Beyond that, I think that just it's built a lot of confidence in myself to realize that no matter what happens, like, I'll make it through. No matter what occurs. Again, this literally was the worst case scenario for my business. I could not think up a worse scenario, like complete shutdown. And ultimately, I wouldn't change a thing. I feel like I have learned so much throughout these past couple months. On the back end of this, it's going to be, okay, now we've got two businesses. That's going to be a fun challenge. I've got two wildly successful businesses, and now I'm going to have to deal with trying to manage both of those. And how much am I going to learn? How much am I going to experience? How much am I able to experience right now living in an RV where I'm not trying to scale a multi-million-dollar company? I'm trying to build a new one. And also, I've got a lot of free time to go hike and climb cliffs and jump off stuff and do whatever I want.
So what would your advice to be to that entrepreneur, that, because my listeners and my network is a lot of entrepreneurs like you and I, for that person that's been really affected by the pandemic, what would your best piece of advice be to that person that isn't really sure what to do? Because their livelihood, everything depends on a business that was thriving pre-pandemic, but now there's this pandemic and people have they're having to go online. What's the best piece of advice that you can give them that you did that allowed you to move forward the way that you guys did and where you are now?
I would just, the biggest thing is to control what you can control. All right. You can't, hopefully someone out there can, but for me, I can't create a vaccine. I can't stop this virus. I can do my part. And for my own personal life and my own business, I can control what I can control. And I chose to focus on that, focus on the light instead of dwelling on the negative. Again, we have that 2 minutes. Everybody deserves that. Everybody should have that time to recognize, but also focus goes where energy flows. And if you are spending your time focusing on poor me, why me, this sucks, my business is suffering, my family is hurting right now, there's no benefit that's going to come from it. And ultimately, I think that something like this is truly what separates the great, wildly successful people and companies from the companies that are maybe one-hit wonders or successful in the short term. I mean, you think about Nike as an example. The amount of turmoil that they experienced and persisted through is absolutely crazy. I mean, reading the book Shoe Dog, which is Nike's story, I was shocked. That company should not exist. They should have died at least 100 times. And they are still here because they were extremely persistent. They didn't allow external circumstances to dictate what happened to them, what happened to their business. They controlled what they can control, and they moved forward regardless of what was happening. I think that's what everybody can do in this circumstance.
Yeah, it comes down to two things: being resilient, the way that Nike was throughout the years, and overcoming obstacles. And in life, if you think there's not going to be an obstacle that you need to overcome, I mean, you're just lying to yourself. But that 2 minutes, I call that the OSM, the oh shit moment. And we're all allowed to have that OSM, but it's I love what my buddy Zach Slobin says. He goes, "So what? Now what?" Right?
Yeah.
All right. So what? This is what's going on. Now what? What are you going to do about it? Because it's not about, and what Bryce and I are trying to say is, don't ignore what's going on there. Acknowledge what's going on there. But once you acknowledge it, move past it. There's people that live in the problem, and then there's people that live in the solution. And when you're a solution-oriented person, you're constantly trying to find new ways and methods of how to move that needle forward. And again, you didn't know that it was going to end up being this, but everything happens on purpose. The pandemic, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it's done a lot of good. It's done a lot of good for people. New businesses have been created. A lot of businesses have been growing. It's brought couples closer together. It's maybe brought couples further apart that needed to be further apart. They just didn't recognize it. It's strengthened bonds and relationships with their kids, with maybe appreciating the friendships that they have and appreciating the family that they have. So there are so many positive things, if we look for it, that has come out of this. Yeah. So when you were making this whole transition, what was the biggest challenge that you faced when you had to acknowledge the fact that, listen, Ticket Rescue, it's, we're going to have to press the hold button right now for the time being. And again, we don't know how long that's going to be. What was the biggest challenge that you faced in progressing forward with your now new business, but also recognizing that when things do open back up, just like you said, you're going to have two businesses to run and take care of. So what was that challenge for you?
I think if I had to pick one, it would somehow relate to not just navigating myself through this storm, but navigating an entire team. And there were that after my OSM moment, that next day I had to make some really hard decisions. I had two people that I had just brought on to Ticket Rescue, like just newly hired 3 days ago, 3 days prior to this, that I had to let go. Had to do big cuts with my team as far as pay goes. We had to make drastic changes. And just me, I am so prideful on being able to help and support others. And I really had to relinquish that a little bit and understand that we all have to take a step back. We all have to give a little bit. So I think that it was one thing to tell myself, okay, this is how it is. We can get through this. There's benefits here. There's positives here, all of this. But navigating an entire team was extremely difficult. And I went from a position where in Ticket Rescue, we never saw any sort of downturn. It was constant, steady growth. Everything was always positive, beneficial, hitting milestones. There was always amazing things happening, and so quickly transitioning to like a huge downturn, complete 180, was a huge challenge and an amazing learning experience. I have learned more in this past month about leadership and managing people and all of these things than I did in my first 3 years of business.
I always tell people that failures always open the doors to your successes. And I don't see things as failures. I think if you remember when I was in the hot seat with Alyssa Nobriga, and I went up there and I said, I realized that your failures always open the doors to your successes. And she says, they may be failures, but they turn into lessons, which turn into successes. Because, there's some people that would say, oh my God, the business is failing. No, there's a failure here that's turning into a lesson that's going to open up a door to a new success. Because everything that you guys are doing right now, there is absolutely no chance that it could have ever happened if the pandemic never hit. You would have never gotten out of your lease in Colorado. You would have never bought the RV. You would have never been traveling across country. You would have never launched this growth agency for influencers on Instagram. None of that would have happened because Michaela will be still doing her thing with the coaching, which she's still doing on the side. You would still be do Ticket Rescue all the time, and that's it. So there's a purpose and a reason behind everything. So I want to talk about something that's really important because you were always someone, and you were open about this, that you didn't always love social media. You didn't want to be the face of Ticket Rescue. You kind of just wanted the company to kind of be the face of it. You just wanted to kind of sit in the background. Yeah. And when everything happened with the pandemic, and you guys were now going on this little new journey of life, you were faced with a new challenge. Sharing yourself, creating a personal brand, launching a new business. So, and there's a lot of people that feel the way that you do. There's a lot of people that don't want to be on social media all the time. They don't want to show every aspect of their life. But knowing what you know now, from April until whenever people are listening to this, how important is it for an entrepreneur that is looking to grow their business to really focus on growing their personal brand?
I have two different opinions. There's part of me that still lives in that old ideal of you don't need social media to grow a business. It can be done. I am a product of that. I grew my first business without ever posting on Instagram. I mean, I posted maybe like to celebrate my dog's birthday and celebrate my girlfriend's birthday. And that was it. And now I have quickly transitioned into where I am sharing pretty much everything that's going on in this journey. What I've realized is how powerful it can be. And there is obviously huge downsides when it comes to social media and the effects that it has on people and their brains and all of these things. I think everybody is very aware of that. But when used the right way and used in moderation, it is such a powerful tool for connecting with other people. And I think for me personally, there was a huge shift when I stopped looking at social media as something that was bad for me, something that was so ego driven, and something that had to be done in order for my business or personal brand to grow. I shifted from that to it's something that is fun. It's something that is enjoyable. It can help me connect with old friends and new friends. It can serve as an amazing scrapbook or collection of memories for me to look back on. And I'm going to approach it from that lens and just truly enjoy it. I'm going to share what I want to share. I want to share my story. I have a powerful message, and I'm going to do it in order to help people, and hopefully it resonates. I'm not going to do it to generate leads. I'm not going to do it to build my business. that stuff will come as a byproduct. If I truly come from a place of service, come from a place of passion, that stuff will come. And that's how I've approached it. And honestly, it's been so much fun. Like I never in a million years thought I would say this, but I truly, truly enjoy social media. And all my friends, everybody who knows me, they're like, what happened? Who are you? And I'm like, I'm just having so much fun. And they really enjoy it. They're like, man, keep doing it. I'm following along. I'm having a blast. Like, I love feeling connected with you without having to call or talk every single day.
No, I could not agree more. Nancy and I love what we do. I love being on social media because, like you, I love adding value to people's lives. You know, everything that I put out, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, it's an added value piece of content where it's going to move the needle forward. I can't tell you, Bryce, how many every week, either someone comments or send me a private message saying, I needed to hear your message today. Yep. People are always, they require to hear certain things because, you know, there's a lot of turmoil right now in this world. There's I have such empathy and sympathy for, you know, people that are not in our situation. And the reason why I'm pushing harder than I ever have before in my business is because people need hope right now. You know, I want to provide that hope, that message that it's going to be okay. We don't know, again, when things are going to start to slow down or calm down. But Simon Sinek said it. He goes, take comfort in knowing in any dark tunnel, there's a light at the end of it. And we don't know how long that dark tunnel is going to be, but as long as we progress forward, there's going to be a light at the end of that. So as far as the new business, which we're going to get into in a second, what's it been like traveling around the country with Michaela and your dog around the country and kind of experiencing that aspect of life? Because we were talking in the pre-show that so many people wait for the quote unquote perfect time to do something, whether it's getting a car or buying that house that they've always wanted or traveling around the country. So how impactful has it been for the two of you to take the bull by the horns and actually do that while you're living right now and not waiting and creating that time and creating those memories right now?
Yeah. Well, I think in this scenario, we probably, some people might argue that we moved too fast. We didn't wait even a half a second. So I mean, it's just, I said to you before the show, I've experienced more in this past 2 months than I experienced in my 20 plus years prior to doing this. Like we've prioritized play and prioritized those experiences. We literally have it marked down on our calendar. Hey, we're going to play, whether it's hike or swim or jump in some water, play some golf. We've truly prioritized that and have become so grounded. I mean, I walk out and we've got a fire pit and I've got a ton of trees and land and I'm stepping in grass, and it's so grounding to feel one with nature and truly be able to experience this stuff and take it all in and prioritize it.
And business has still continued. You guys are still doing what you're doing. You're just, again, the more organized, the way that we do one thing is the way that we do everything. And when you're organized in your business and when you can prioritize, just like you said, you know, Nancy and I prioritize our mornings. We do no business before 10 a.m. You know, we got up at 6 o'clock, you know, we feed all the animals, we take the dogs for a walk, we go downstairs, we work out, we go upstairs, we turn the coffee pot on, we start making breakfast, and we just kind of catch up. And then 10 o'clock, the day starts, and, you know, we're done at a very reasonable hour. We have dinner every night together. And obviously we have Taylor this weekend, so we're going to have dinner every night together as a family. You prioritize those things. We always make time for what's most important to us. Mm-hmm. So before we officially wind down, tell the audience a little bit about yours and Michaela's new business and how you're actually helping people in a new way with this new company.
Yeah, so it's been such an interesting shift because it started out as us slash me trying to help with Michaela's business and stumbling upon something that was so amazing that she was pushing, you have to put this out here. You can't just keep this to me. This is so beneficial. So basically what we are doing, and there are grand visions beyond this. But what our core focus is right now is understanding that there are many influencers and personal brands out there that have this powerful message, and they want to spread it far and wide, but there's only one of them. They can only do so much on their own. So what we do as a company is we come in, we learn everything there is to know about somebody and their voice, their message, the emojis they use, the punctuation down to the little minute details. And we take that and we share that message on Instagram as them through engagement. Essentially what it's doing is we have found a unique way to generate leads through Instagram, finding someone's ideal client and bringing them to their page and letting the person's message and magic do its own work. And through that, we've seen wild success when it comes to people building their businesses as far as generating leads and generating revenue. But it's also had the byproduct of people growing their following, growing their engagement on Instagram, all of these other things. We've approached it from the purpose of, hey, we want to help you generate revenue and generate leads, but all of these other amazing things are happening as a byproduct of it. And it's been so cool to see. I mean, I've gotten a couple messages in the last few days of people just saying, oh my God, I just sold out my program. Oh my God, I'm helping so many women. Oh my God, I'm helping so many people. And it's so cool. Like, we're working with people who have amazing stuff, amazing messages, amazing things, and they just need help getting it out there, and we're being able to help do that.
Love that. So before I get to my final question, how can people find out more about how you and Michaela are helping people on Instagram to grow their businesses and generate leads and generate more sales?
Yeah, so trtvirtual.com is where everything is. Honestly, this is something that we have just now released to the public because we've grown so fast just in our immediate network that we haven't even had the capacity to bring on more clients. So it's just now out there. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's Bryce Thrillson, a little play on Bryce Wilson. But I don't really talk about that. That's on Instagram. I'm more so just sharing our journey, sharing my message, whatever's on my mind. Sometimes it's humor. A lot of times it's me making fun of Michaela. And sometimes it's serious and maybe a little bit of motivation, I guess you could say. But more so it's just me having a lot of fun.
I love it. So final question before we sign off, and I want to go back and listen to the old episode to see how your answer has changed. So what does success truly mean to you now?
Oh, I don't think through all this my answer has shifted much, and I'm very interested to see as well. But I would label success on the amount of impact you are able to have in your life, whether it's to one person or to many. The number of people that you're able to have, or the amount of impact that you are able to have in a positive light. That's how I would label success. It's not money. It's not things. It's not any of that. It's how much can you do? How much can you help? How many people are you leaving better off than what they were before they met you, before you walked into their life?
It's about serving others and taking what has helped you and now providing that service to someone else so they can better their lives and just, you know, passing it forward. And that's what it's all about, paying it forward and leaving people better. And everything that you guys and Michaela are doing is exactly just that. So number one, thank you so much again for being here as a returning guest. And number two, just congratulations to you both. I think so highly of the both of you, and I think you guys are doing amazing things, and I know you're going to continue to do that. So I just want to wish you continued success, and just so grateful for you and your friendship, and thank you so much for being here again.
Well, I receive all that and send it all back to you. I appreciate you so much, and I love doing these things. they're so much fun to me. I could do this every single day. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely, brother. And as always, guys, wherever you're listening to this from, take a screenshot, throw it up on social, whether it's on IG, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Let us know what your takeaways were. You can head over to iTunes, leave a rating and review, share your feedback from this episode. We would love to hear from you. So as always, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review. I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.